James Cameron once said, "Set your goals so high that if you fail above everyone else's expectations." I love that quote. And there are so many people out there that have failed in business early on, but they kept trying and trying and trying. They became successful. And I'm going to give you some examples. There was a guy who got rejected by the USC Film School 3 times. So he probably thought to himself, well, I'll probably never be a good director or movie maker. That guy's name was Steven Spielberg. He never got in. Never got in. There's another guy who was an alcoholic and a drug addict. And people thought he would amount to nothing in his life. And so what he did was he realized that his best therapy was writing. It kept him sober. That guy's name, after he cleaned up his act, was Stephen King. Another guy started a company and failed. He ran for office and he failed. And he thought, I'm a failure in life. Abraham Lincoln. Another guy started a company, got fired by the board of directors, thought his life was over. Then he came back to turn around that company. Steve Jobs. Another great example is there's this incredible author that was rejected, I think 20 or 30 times by every publisher. She was penniless, she was poor. She was a single parent, poor thing. She hated her job as an assistant. That name was, yes, who is it? Who is it? J.K. Rowling. Yep, that was me buying time because I forgot her name, to be honest. Same thing can be said for Agatha Christie. Okay, I'm looking both ways and I'm gonna cross the road now. Here we go. Nobody's ever become incredibly successful without having failed over and over and over again. Okay, even Bill Gates, he started a company that monitored traffic. Okay, that was called Trafodata, and he failed. He failed with that company, but he just kept trying. And so, if you surround yourself with people that are very negative, your chance of success will be maybe a bit lower if you believe what they're saying. But you can do one of two things. Number one, you can cut them off, which is what I've done. Or number two, you can kind of see it as an indication that unjustified criticism is nothing more than a disguised compliment. So anyway, perception becomes reality. It all depends how you think about it. And so I want to liberate your fear of failure. Okay, there's so many incredible examples of very intelligent executives at big companies that make ridiculous statements, right? But because they sound confident when they speak, you think that they're credible, but they're not. They're not. And so I want to end today's vlog with a video here of famous quotes from people in big companies, which of course never came true. And I also want to, after that, show you another short video of other famous people that failed in their lives. And I think that Steve Jobs had it right when he said that, you know, those who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are ultimately the ones that do. You know, and I love movies. I love that movie, Field of Dreams. And that one line Kevin Costner says, if you build it, they will come. It sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy. And most people that change the world are thought of as being crazy initially. And then what happens is they get some success. And so they're thought of as being, okay, crazy geniuses. And then they get huge success and people are like, oh, they're a genius. They're a genius. And so I really do believe that those who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are ultimately the ones that do. And if you haven't failed in your life more than a couple times in business, you're not trying hard enough. In 1962, the Decca Recording Company said of the Beatles, "We don't like their sound, and guitar music is on the way out." Western Union also said this in 1876. "This telephone has too many shortcomings to be seriously considered as a means of communication. The device is inherently of no value to us." United Artists said of Ronald Reagan in 1964, "Reagan doesn't have that presidential look." And Thomas Watson, the chairman of IBM in 1943, said, "I think there is a world market for maybe 5 computers." And the New York Times once said that a rocket will never be able to leave the Earth's atmosphere. And a newspaper once fired Walt Disney for not being creative enough And he also failed in his early startups. And Albert Einstein couldn't speak properly until the age of 9. If you want more inspiration, please watch graduation keynotes from the people that I mentioned in this vlog. And make your idols your rivals. Okay, and you only have to be right in business one time. And so continue to think different, experiment, continue to keep creating companies, and if they fail, so what? Keep trying over and over and over again. And I actually get this question every now and then from my students, which is, Chris, when should I stop running my business or give up on it? And I don't like the word give up. I like the word moving on to something else. And the best answer I can give to that is give it 2 years, right? If you start a company, give it 2 years. And if it doesn't go anywhere, then consider either changing your business model or trying something else, another company. But just know that anybody that's ever amounted to anything in life has failed more times than you and I combined. Okay, so just set your goals as high as you can, and don't worry if people think that you're being crazy. Who cares what other people think anyway? Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are ultimately the ones that do. And so I really want to liberate your fear of failure. Anyway, if this was helpful, and only if this was helpful, please click the like button and subscribe, and I will see you mañana. Thank you.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.